and I'm back today with another video. Today I'm going to show you guys how to pass the RN Nclex on your first try. You heard me right, your very first try. I know you want to go and get this Nclex out the way because we got new changes to the Nclex that's coming, and you want to go and pass this Nclex on the very first time. I know you see I have books scattered everywhere because we were taught out of every book that you could name. And there's no way that you can go flip back through all those books to prepare for your exam. I mean, you can hit a few chapters on the highlights of things that you may think that's on the Nclex, but it's almost impossible to study every bit of material that you went over when you were in school. So I'm going to give you 5 quick tips on how to pass the RN Nclex. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to prepare yourself mentally. This is something that you want to do, as I stated, once. So you need to get yourself prepared mentally. Talk to yourself. Self, I have to pass this Nclex. Self, I have to take this on the very first time and get it out the way. I cannot repeat this again. Now, let me stop. If you have to take the Nclex again, it's perfectly fine. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that we want to prevent from having to take it a second time. But you have to talk to yourself. You got to prep yourself. You got to talk to God. God, help me, because I had to do that. Because I finished school we had all this stuff. Everybody had all this stuff with COVID that kind of put us a little bit behind. But we were already kind of in the front. So by May the 1st, we were finished with our stuff for school. We didn't get our transcript sent over to the Mississippi State Board of Nursing until the 11th or the 12th. On the 12th, I applied for the RN temporary permit, and it was approved. So I was able, fortunately, to get paid RN pay before I took my boards. But to make a long story short, what you want to do is you got to talk to God. You got to get yourself together, because this is only a temporary. You have to put your fund on hold temporary. Even to get out of school, you got to put fund on hold temporary, because once you get this, nobody can take it away but you. So I was so happy to be out of school, because we studied books and books and tests and tests and HESIs and HESIs, and the break was so good. I ended up getting on TikTok and got hooked on TikTok. I started back social media a little bit, just different things that was different to do and that was fun outside of studying a book all the time. And I had heard about UWorld. I was kind of up in the air with the UWorld, because I like, do I want to spend this type of money and purchase UWorld, or do I just want to do what I've been doing, you know, in school? Because I made straight A's and B's, thank God, but I actually put the time in for those A's and B's. So I was kind of juggling in the air, and on the 20th of May, I decided to purchase UWorld, and I purchased it for 30 days. It was $129. But I let time slip by, enjoying myself without having to pick up a book, you all. And when I know it, I was like, in the 3rd week, I'm going to start studying for the boards. I got to focus. I'm going to study. I start picking up shifts to work, because, you know, with school, you can't work full-time unless you got like a laid-back job where you're able to work and study. Otherwise, you can't work full-time, or you can't work. Sometimes it's even hard to work part-time because of the curriculum is so heavy. So I was like, at 3 weeks, you're going to start studying. You're going to study every day. You're going to have a certain amount of hours that you're going to dedicate to your studies. And then you can take off and, you know, just relax or enjoy the rest of the time. So I purchased it, and I let the 3rd week went by. So I was like, oh my goodness, I got to do better. I looked at the calendar. I set my date for the 9th of June, which would have gave me a month to study if I had to start studying when I needed to. So I'm 2.5 weeks, you guys, into boards. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is real. I really got to focus. It don't matter what I made in school. I want to do this one time, and I want to get it over. So the first thing you got to do is prepare yourself mentally. Because when you take that break, sometimes it's hard to get back into the book. I am so grateful that I am out of the book right now. I will go back and get my BS, but I will not go back and get it anytime soon, because I am enjoying my life. Because it's been put on hold. I'm getting older. I'm 40. I got to put time in with the hubby. I got to put time in with the kids. So much has went on with my kids when I was in school. So my main priority right now is family, and just pretty much trying to go closer to God. But the first thing I want to tell you guys is to prepare yourself mentally. Do what you got to do. The second thing, you got to prioritize. What's important to you? What's more important to you, passing the boards or doing it again if you have to? And I'm not criticizing anyone who has to take boards again. But you got to prioritize. Put your priorities first. We all like clean houses. We all like to cook. We all like money. But guess what? Once you pass them boards, you will have time to make all the money that you want to make. So sometimes you just got to be broke just for a little bit while longer until you get that RN behind your name. So prioritize. Delete social media. Did you hear me? Delete social media. Okay, if you're someone like me, like as I stated, I turned 40 this year. Social media is not a lot of hype for me. So I did not have to delete social media. But I distanced myself from social media. As I told you guys, once I got out of school, I started trickling back onto social media some because I had free time. But anyone who is a social media, if you're addicted to it, you know you're going to get on it every day. You're going to check stuff all throughout the day. And when you know it, you have wasted hours of your day when you could be doing something important with it. So if you're not a person that can distance yourself from social media, you need to delete social media. Delete it. Because it's just taking up time when you can be studying and getting yourself prepared for your boards. The second thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to develop a routine. What I did every day is I developed a routine. I was home, unfortunately, because my son had a bad four-wheeler accident. And he had some trouble. He lost vision in his eye, and I just thank God he can see a little bit. At least we got something. You know, he's only 14, so we have a little vision, and we're going to be grateful for what we got in that right eye. And we know that God can work miracles. So I was at home with him while I was trying to finish a little bit of school. I had to cut back off the working. But I started working, as I stated, after I got out of school because we want money. So I started working. But I had to develop a routine. On my off days, what I did was I got up at 9 o'clock. I wanted to get up at 8 o'clock. It was so hard, I couldn't. Maybe once or twice I hit the 8 o'clock mark. And I'm two weeks after taking boards. So then I had to get like super serious. But I got up in the morning. I have some dogs in the house. Now there's only one puppy in, well, she's not a puppy, she's grown, she's 6. She's in the house. So I would get up in the morning. I would take her out to let her use the restroom. I would feed my other dogs on the outside. The kids will be asleep for a while, and thank God I have big children. They are 13, 14, and 19. So I have big children. And my kids understood. That was like, Mom, we know that you trying to do, you know, pass your test, and it's okay. Because sometimes I would just be too tired and drained to cook. But you're going to have to, excuse me, develop a routine. Get up, do what you got to do. If you got to get your cup of coffee, if you got to eat, whatever you have to do, you have to develop a routine that works for you. And follow that routine every day. Set your time out and follow that routine daily. Because it's going to help you out. No company, no going out, no partying. This is all temporary. You're putting this on hold temporary. It's not for the rest of your life. So develop your routine and stick to it. As I stated, I had a routine. At 9 o'clock I was up. Took my puppy out. Well, not my puppy, but took my dog out. I wouldn't eat a lot of times, but I would drink my coffee. This is going to be your best friend. Even get through nursing school. The Espresso Dunkin' Donuts and the Caramel Iced Macchiato was my best friend because I would study so much that I would just get so tired. And when you get your routine developed, say, I'm going to answer 200 questions a day. I'm going to answer 300 questions a day. Develop a routine that works for you. But the fifth and final thing that I want to tell you all, you see all these books. It's no way I was going to be able to go back and study all these books. No, I wasn't. I wasn't going to even try to. I was trying to pull off what I had. I was only had 2 weeks into passing my boards. And guess what I did? I purchased UWorld. I had already purchased UWorld in the beginning. Remember me saying that. I had a month when I purchased it. I was supposed to study for 3 weeks and I didn't. But anyway, I made the best of those 2.5 weeks. I purchased it for 1 month. It was $129. They gave me a bank of questions, about 2,000 and something questions. I had a question bank. And every day, it was my goal to answer at least 200 questions. And I know y'all like, that's a lot of questions. Sometimes I would get up to close to 300 questions. But the more questions you answer and the more rationales you read and understand, the higher your chances are of passing boards. So within those first, I'm going to give myself 2.5 weeks. Maybe it was 2.5 weeks I started. So I'm going to say 2.5 weeks. But for the first week, It was strictly UWorld. It wasn't anything else, because you don't want to do too much where you mess yourself up and you get confused. So after that, and UWorld gonna have some stuff on there that you probably haven't even seen, but it was good. And the good part about UWorld is when you take your boards, it's set up exactly like boards. So it's like, oh, I'm kind of familiar with this. This is the same exact setup as UWorld when you get there and sit down and get ready to take your exam. But this is gonna be your best friend too. This was my best friend for HESIs in school. I didn't use it for exams, but I used it for HESIs. This is your best friend. I studied whatever we was testing on, and I made 900, 1000s, 1200s and above off of this book right here, because it had rationales too. But what I did UWorld, like I said, for strictly for like a week, maybe a week and a half. And the last week, I did UWorld and the 8th edition of this Saunders Nclex book. And when I tell you guys I was ready, I was ready. Now, you're going to get a little nervous. When I walked up in there, I was cool, calm, and collect, sit down. Got to go and reading the little questions, telling you what you got to do, what you can't do. Heart got to beating a little bit. So it's beating this time to get ready to take this test. And I jump on in to take this test. And the first question, I'm like, read it again. Read your questions at least 2 or 3 times. Take your time on your test, because you want to do this one time. Don't get scared of the myths that they have out there saying that if you have a lot of select all of the apply, that means you're doing bad. If you get a whole lot of this, you're doing bad. There is a lot of versions to the State Board of Nursing exam. No one will have the same version. If you get this particular version where you got 20 select all of the apply, you just looked up and got that version, because that's what happened to me. I know I had every bit of 12. And some of them, you know, State Board, they say do give you a chance to pass. If you're doing like super, super bad, it's going to cut you off early. If you're doing like super, super good, it's going to cut you off early. So I had to select all of the apply, a lot of them, at least 12. And some of them, I knew that was the answer. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is the answer, because you were going to prepare you with select all of the apply and this Saunders Nclex. So some of them, I was like, this is the answer. And I know it's right, because I know this is the answer. Select it, and I get another one. And then I had someone where I was like, I'm not too sure, and you kind of weed the answer out. So don't get afraid, because I was kind of afraid. I was like, when I finished, I was into it. And the stuff that wasn't select all that apply, you have to think a little bit, but if you like studying in school, you're gonna get it. So I was like rolling. Look up, I'm on number 55. Rolling. 58. Boom, a couple more questions cut off in the blue. So I'm like, oh my goodness, did I pass? Did I fail? It cut off at 60. Then I was like, well, you know, I was feeling comfortable, but then I was feeling afraid because of all these select all that applies. So don't listen to the hype about, you know, if you get too many select all that apply that you're doing super bad. They have so many versions to this test. So many. But I hope that this information was helpful to you to help you pass the Nclex. Prepare yourself mentally. Prioritize. Delete social media. Develop a routine that works strictly for you. And purchase your UWorld and your Saunders. Hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Drop your feedback. If you all need these cards, any nursing student who is about to prepare for boards, you all can have them, because I really didn't use it. I open them up and I let my daughter kind of quiz me on a little bit, but I really like to answer questions. To me, questions is the best. Earl, can you come cut this camera off? And to me, questions is the best with routine questions. So I do have some nursing stuff that I'm willing to donate to nursing students. So if you need them, drop your comments, let me know. Toodles.